Have you ever looked at someone and thought, they love me, right? But deep down, something doesn't feel right. You can't explain it. You just know that something inside you is shrinking. You tell yourself it's normal, that every couple fights. But what if it's not normal? What if you're not in love? You're in survival mode. Today, I'll show you 6 subtle signs you're in a toxic relationship, but you don't see it yet. Signs that are often mistaken for love, but are actually the reason you've started losing yourself. Sign number 1, you apologize just to keep the peace. You say sorry, not because you did something wrong, but because you don't want another fight. It starts small. You give in once, then again. You start walking on eggshells, choosing every word carefully, trying to prevent the next explosion. What you don't realize is that your nervous system has learned fear instead of trust. Healthy love feels calm. Toxic love feels like tension disguised as passion. Sign number 2, you can't express how you really feel. In a toxic relationship, honesty slowly dies. You begin censoring yourself, hiding emotions to avoid judgment or ridicule. You start thinking, maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe it's my fault. This is manipulation, emotional gaslighting that makes you question your reality. And once you doubt your own feelings, you give someone else the power to control them. Sign number 3, every problem somehow becomes your fault.
If you find yourself constantly blamed, even for things you didn't do, that's not love. Toxic partners rarely take accountability. Instead, they twist the story until you're the villain. And soon, you start believing it. You start apologizing for things you didn't even do because it's easier than being ignored or punished. Remember, someone who truly loves you takes responsibility. They don't rewrite reality to protect their ego. Sign number 4, you're on an emotional roller coaster. One day, you feel like the most loved person in the world. The next, you're met with a wall of silence. This isn't passion, it's unpredictability. It's a cycle of intense affection followed by sudden hostility or rejection. This constant whiplash keeps you off balance. You become addicted to the highs, enduring the lows in the desperate hope they'll return. It's an emotional dependency that feels like love, but is actually a form of control. Sign number 5, you're becoming isolated. Think about your friends, your family. Do you see them less? Does your partner subtly discourage you from meeting them? Maybe they create drama right before you're supposed to go out, or belittle your loved ones until you start to pull away yourself. This isn't about wanting you all to themselves. It's about control. By severing your connections, they make themselves the center of your universe, your only source of support. It leaves you vulnerable and less likely to hear an outside perspective that might challenge the reality they've created for you. And finally, the 6th, and perhaps most heartbreaking sign. You don't recognize yourself anymore. You look in the mirror and don't quite recognize the person staring back. The hobbies you once loved feel distant. Your confidence has been replaced by self-doubt. You laugh a little less. Your world has become smaller. This is the cumulative effect of the constant criticism, the gaslighting, and the emotional turmoil. A toxic relationship doesn't just take your time. It slowly erodes your sense of self. You start to internalize their negative view of you, believing you're not enough. These 6 signs, apologizing for peace, silencing your voice, taking all the blame, riding an emotional roller coaster, losing your friends, and losing yourself. They aren't chapters in a love story. They are symptoms of survival. Recognizing them is not an act of failure. It's an act of courage. It's the first step toward reclaiming the person you were before someone else's chaos became your normal. Healthy love doesn't shrink you. It makes you expand. It feels like calm, not a storm. And you deserve to feel that calm. You deserve to find your way back to you.
Love is supposed to fill you up. It's meant to be a source of energy, a place of rest. But if you're listening to this, you might know a different feeling. The feeling where every conversation is heavy, like you're wading through mud just to be understood. Where every day feels like emotional labor, a shift you can never clock out of. You start to see a stranger in the mirror. You don't recognize the person who is constantly tired, whose shoulders are always tense with anxiety. You feel disconnected, from your own thoughts, from the world around you. But you can't pinpoint exactly why. You just know something is fundamentally off. It's because your body knows. Your body is living in a constant state of fight or flight. That low-grade hum of dread, the trouble sleeping, the stomach in knots, that isn't you being difficult. That's your nervous system screaming that it isn't safe. It's an alarm that has been ringing every single day for so long that you've started to mistake it for silence. And then there's the secrecy. It starts small. You find yourself carefully editing stories before you tell them to your friends. You defend your partner's behavior, hearing the words come out of your own mouth. They're not like this all the time. You become an expert publicist for your own pain, managing their image at the expense of your reality.
You hide the truth from the people who love you, because deep down in that quiet place you try not to visit, you already know something's wrong. You know that if you said the words out loud, they would become real, and the reality is terrifying. The moment you start protecting their image more than your own peace, you're no longer in a partnership. You're a warden in your own prison. You're trapped. And love, real love, should never be something you have to justify. But maybe the most dangerous sign of all is when you confuse chaos with passion. This is the one that keeps people stuck for years. When the relationship feels like a violent roller coaster, highs so dizzyingly high you feel addicted, and lows that completely break you, that isn't intensity. That's not the stuff of romance novels. That's trauma bonding. Your brain, in an attempt to survive, actually starts craving the cycle. The pain, followed by the tearful apology, followed by the temporary, intoxicating relief. It rewires your expectations until that volatility feels like love. But it isn't. It's a chemical trap, an addiction to a pattern that is slowly, methodically erasing you. True love doesn't need chaos to feel alive. It doesn't need drama to prove its depth.
It feels safe. It feels like coming home. It's a quiet strength, not a constant storm. It feels like breathing out, not holding your breath. If you recognize yourself in any of this, please hear me. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're broken or foolish. It means you have been surviving something that was never safe to begin with. Your exhaustion is a testament to your strength. Healing begins the moment you stop trying to fix them and you start choosing yourself. When you decide that your peace is non-negotiable, because love shouldn't hurt your peace. It should be the thing that protects it. And if you ever need to hear this again, just remember this moment. Remember this feeling of clarity. Sometimes the very first step to finding your way back to yourself is finally, truly realizing you were never the problem.